from Altadena Library, and I'm here with Beatrix, my daughter. And today we are going to show you how to make paper bead jewelry. So those are the beads that we're making. And we're making it into a cool necklace. All right, so what you need to get started, this is one of the beads that Beatrix made. If you can tell, it's got a little bee on it that she drew, which is pretty cool. All right, so what you need, all of these supplies should be available for you in your summer reading kit if you've picked it up from the Altadena Library already. If you haven't picked it up yet, go ahead and do it. It's got some really cool craft supplies and a free book and everything that you need to participate with us along the summer. So what you need from your kit or from your house is some colored paper, some string, a glue stick, and scissors. And you might want some different like markers or paint or different things if you want to use those. So you're going to start with your piece of paper. And the reason you might want markers or paint or things like that is that you can decorate your paper before you cut it to make beads. And that's going to make your beads have a little bit of a design, sort of like this. Or you can wait and draw on it afterwards like Beatrix did to make her design on her bead. So I have this piece of paper that I've already kind of colored on a little bit. And what you do, you can either draw straight lines if you want to. If you're pretty good at cutting straight lines, you can go ahead and cut. So I'm relatively good at cutting straight lines, but I think for today, I'm going to draw my straight line so I know where I want to cut. So what we're doing is if you have a piece of paper, we're going to cut in this direction, the short way, not this direction, which is the long way. So we're going to do short way. And we're going to cut a shape that's a really long triangle. How many sides does a triangle have? 3. 3 sides. Triangle has 3 sides. So 2 of the sides are going to be super duper long, and one of the sides is going to be super short. And the short side of the triangle is going to determine how wide your beads are. So this little guy here had a very, very short side. This guy here had just sort of a medium side. So we'll see. So I'm relatively good at cutting straight lines, but just to show you how it could be done, I'm going to use another piece of paper to help draw a straight line on the paper I want to cut. So I'm going to take my piece of paper that I'm using that's my helper paper, and I'm going to put it on top of my paper that I want to cut so that the part that I want to cut is the only part that's showing. Now I'm going to take something to write with, and I'm going to draw a straight line on the paper I want to cut. Oh, it's hard to see. Can you hand me that pencil?
Maybe the blue.
Okay, or the pencil. Yeah. Thank you. All right, I'm going to do it again with the pencil so you can see. I see why you didn't give me the pencil. It doesn't work. All right, let's try one more time. Okay, so if you can see that, there's that straight line that's going across all those squiggly lines. That's the one I drew with my helper paper. You can use something like a ruler or another straight edge to do that. And I'm going to cut right along that straight line that I drew. So I have my long triangle. Now if you want all of your beads to look the same, you can use a ruler and measure out where you're going to cut. And then make sure that they're all the same size, same shape and things like that. If you just don't mind what they look like, you can just kind of freehand it and go however you want. Now, something I didn't say we needed at the beginning is something sort of small and straight. So you could use a chopstick, a kebab skewer, a pencil, anything that would work like that that's kind of round and not too big. So you're going to take your round, long object, and what we're going to do is we're going to roll this piece of paper so that the color's on the outside. So we're going to roll it in this way. And we're going to start from the larger ends and go all the way down to the point. So we're starting at the larger end with our long, straight, well, right now we have a chopstick. And we're going to do it really tight. And this part might be hard for some kids. Beatrix, you want to show them what your first one looked like?
This is my first one.
Yeah, that's Beatrix's first one, which is pretty cool. But you can see it's a little looser, so it makes a wider bead. This one kind of came apart, but it does make a cool spiral. So if you don't mind a wider bead, you could do it less tight. If you do want a smaller bead and you're having trouble, you might want to ask a grown-up or somebody to help you roll up your bead. So if you can see, I've got the paper on the chopstick now. It's all rolled up pretty tight. So I'm going to take off about 1 inch of the end and take our glue stick. Thank you, my friend. Put some glue on the bottom of that end and roll it back up. And I want to hold on to it for a few seconds so it dries, but while I'm holding on to it and letting it dry, I can try and slide it off of my chopstick. And we'll give it a few more seconds. And then we have our really cool bead that we made. And check it out, looks cool. Not sure how well you can see it, but it's a pretty cool bead. All right, so you can keep doing that. You can keep making lots of beads. You can make sure that you're cutting triangle shapes. Use a straight edge, a ruler, a helper paper to help you if you need, or you could freehand it. So I can freehand it now if I know I want to make a triangle, and I'm going to cut it along this edge. So I'm just going to look at where I want to go and cut. And I've got this guy. So parents, if you have somebody younger, like in preschool or younger than that, they can participate in some of this. You can use some of their old paintings to make the beads, use the paper for the beads, which is a really good way of reusing that artwork. As they get a little bit older into kindergarten, like 3, 4, 5 years of age, you can work on your scissors skills with them. So working on cutting along those lines, if you draw lines to help guide them, it's a good practice to get ready for school. And then rolling up the paper is going to help with all of our fine motor skills and our strength in our fingers. So it does take a little bit of strength if you want to keep it super duper tight. So I'm going to finish up this last bead that I made, and then I'll show you what happens after that. So here's my bead. And you can see the colors that are on it a little better this time. All right, and as you can see, this one is a little shorter than this one. That's because the base of the triangle that I cut on this one was wider, and the base for this one was smaller. All right, so you've got your beads. Say that you made more than 2 of them. Unless 2 is all you want, that it works perfectly fine too. You're going to take your string, and you're going to string it through your beads. If you have trouble getting your string through your beads, you can wrap a little piece of tape around the end, and that'll give it, it'll make it a little more stiff and easier to string. All right. Oh, Beatrix is putting one on too. Oh, no, she's not. You don't want to put it on? Okay. Make sure when you're stringing that you're being careful about your other ends, because they could just slide off. So you might want to tie a knot in the end or have somebody else hold it for you, just to make sure that your beads don't slide off. So you have your beads on your string. You can make them into a cool bracelet, which would be a little shorter, into a necklace, into a headband. What else could you do? An anklet, a belt. Basically anything that is round, you can do with these beads. And you can get creative with it. So again, we'll show you earrings. Earrings would be so cool. Again, we will show you our final product, what it could look like for you. Your colors might be different, the size of your beads might be different, but it looks pretty cool when you wear it. And you can use any kind of paper you want for this. You can use construction paper. You can use, today, actually we have cardstock at our house, so we use cardstock. You can use old paintings or drawings that you have. You can even use magazine pages to make the paper beads. So go have fun and explore and make sure that you come back and check in and see what else is happening this summer. Thanks. Bye.